Alright everybody, welcome to lesson number 14's video. So for the homework assignment here, we're going to go through some centroid questions and some practice multiple choice questions for all the different points of concurrency that we used throughout the last few lessons. So let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 tells us 3 segments lengths, so it tells us that DF is 3, so I'll put that in my picture. It tells us BF is 14 and GF is 8. Now one of the things that we know is that if this is the centroid, that all of these segments are going to be in a 2-to-1 ratio. Meaning, if 3 is the length of DF, FC must be 6. So CF is 6. The next piece asks us to find EF. Well, it looks like EF is the shorter of the two segments, so since BF is 14, EF must be 7. And the last one asks us to find AF. It looks like FG is the shorter of the two segments, so AF must be double of 8, so that would be 16. Let's look at 2. 2 is similar to one that we did in class, so it tells us that GF is this 2x minus 1.
Excuse me.
So if we label that segment 2x minus 1, and AF, which is the longer of the two segments, 6x minus 8, I have a relationship I can use to figure out what x is. Right? So we know that AF is equal to double the length of FG. So if AF is 6x minus 8, and FG, or GF, is 2x minus 1, I should be able to solve for x. So we use all those good algebra skills that we have. So 6x minus 8 equals 4x minus 2. Subtract 4x. So I have 2x minus 8 equals negative 2. I can add 8 to both sides. I get 2x equals 6. Divide by 2. And now I know the x value of this expression is 3. They want us to find the length of GA. So if I want to find the length of GA, if I plug in x to both GF and AF in total, that's going to give me GA. So GF is going to be 2 times 3 minus 1, which gives me 5. AF is going to give us 6 times 3 minus 8, which gives us 10. So in total, GA is going to be 15. Number 3 gives us medians. So medians tell us that all of these sides are going to be cut into 2 equal pieces because they're going to intersect the midpoint. It tells us that TO is 10, and it wants us to find TA. Well, if TO is 10, I know because of the medians, this is the centroid, meaning we have that 2-to-1 ratio. So if OT equals 10, that means AO equals 20. So in total, TA, the whole length, must be 30. That was a Regents question. It was a multiple choice question. Let's look at 4. 4 gives us this diagram, and it becomes multiple choice. So it tells us that AE is congruent to EB. It tells us that AF is congruent to CF, and it tells us that CD is congruent to BD. So that tells us that all of these segments are the medians. Medians tell us that point P must be the centroid. Number 5 says the points of concurrent are outside of the triangle. So the points of concurrency can be outside the triangle only in the circumcenter and the orthocenter. Just a rule we memorized. In which triangle do the 3 altitudes intersect outside of the triangle? Altitudes, that's talking about orthocenter. And that only happens outside of the triangle in an obtuse triangle. And that's it. All right, that is unit number 1. So one of the things I would suggest to all of you as the weekend comes here is possibly starting to look back at the other videos I've made for all the homework assignments. If there's been a homework assignment you missed or you didn't do for some reason, you could go back and look at them in preparation or starting to review at least for your test next week. Whenever I create a test, I always use questions from homework assignments. I might change a number or two here or there, but it's the same concept. So if you've done all your homework throughout Unit 1, you should be pretty much prepared for the test next week already. Also, don't forget, I'm after school on Tuesday of next week. Have a great 3-day weekend.